Hi, I'm Beth Prince, a kindergarten teacher from Washington, D.C.
And I'm Kerry-Ann Reeves, a fifth grade teacher from New York.
We're here as part of Voices, a project where we share some wonderful book titles that help to promote the values of empathy with your students.
We hope some of these titles can serve as windows into the lives of the diverse and unique students in your classroom.
Today, we're talking about the book I Promise by LeBron James.
And illustrated by Nina Mata.
So come chat with us today, gain some useful tools, and learn more about how to make a promise to yourself
and to your students to always work hard and do what's right. I find this book a necessity to share with my classroom because it is such a fun book, and in the book they're talking about promises, and when you make a promise to yourself, you find more value in it. So when the students are focused on making these year-long promises to themselves, they find value in it and they take ownership.
Yes, I agree, Kerry-Ann. I feel that teaching kindergarten, the students really gravitate towards the illustrations. They love the pictures in the book.
Plus, it's a book that they can relate to. Like, you flip through every page and they're seeing themselves in it. And I realize that when the students can identify with the characters in a story, that they have more of a connection to it. Plus, it's a book that's written by LeBron James, and they get a kick out of that. So,
yes, LeBron James, a basketball player and an author, mind blown for the kids.
Indeed.
Working with young children, teaching them about what a promise is really important in a young child's life. Just learning about what that means and looking at all the different ways that you can make a promise in your life.
For me, with the fifth graders, it's the fact that you can achieve anything. Mm-hmm. Just don't give up on yourself. In my lesson plans at the beginning of the year, we used to do like class rules and class contracts. Now we do promises. So after reading the book, we talk about what are some promises you want to make to yourself and to the class community. Because at the beginning of the book, you'll see where it says we are a family. So we like to talk a lot about in our classroom that we are a family. We spend a lot of time together. So it's promises that you're making to yourself, but also to the class community. And they make at least, I usually say like about 5, because sometimes the kids get hung up on a number. So just give them about 5. Sometimes they want to do more, but what are some promises you want to make to yourself to have a successful school year? What are some promises you want to make to yourself to have a productive class community? And then, like you had said earlier, we revisit them throughout the year just to see, have I met this promise? Is there another promise that I have now that I'm 3-4 months into 5th grade? Is there another promise that I want to make to myself to add to this list? So it's like a live document almost. Yeah. So it's hung in the classroom. We have the display, and we just work on it.
And the wonderful thing about this book is that everything Kerry-Ann said that she does with 5th graders, you can do with pre-K and kindergartners. We do the same things at our school. We do classroom rules because that is part of responsive classroom for our school. Yeah. But it is based in this book. After I read this book, it kind of changed the whole way I thought about it. And so we really do work on it as a class. They have individual goals and promises to themselves that they make and they talk about and they draw pictures about. And again, we revisit those again in January and again at the end of the year, just as we are wrapping up the year, to see whether they have been able to keep those promises and what changes they'd like to make.
Isn't it funny how what we do on 5th, you can do on the lower grades and vice versa? So it's one of those books that goes from whichever grade level you want to use it on. It's just one of those universal books.
Yeah.
Some of the promises I remember are, I promise to be respectful. I promise to study my times table. I've heard, I promise to get all my homework done. I promise not to annoy Mrs. Reeves. I've heard, I promise not to annoy Mrs. Reeves. I promise to do my best. I promise not to give up. One of my favorites was, I promise to listen. It was a student who just had a hard time just listening to others, and in talking, they're like, I promise to listen, and they met that goal.
Yeah, kindergartners, I promise to put my markers away. I promise to raise my hand. I promise to try my best. I promise to do my best. I promise to listen. We have I promise listening too. I promise to stand in line without wiggling. So we have a lot of funny things. And we work on our promises for a whole week. So it's kind of just an evolving thing even during that week because they really are getting a sense of what happens in school. Many of our students are just coming to an organized school for the first time. So it's really kind of just getting a sense of what's happening in the classroom for what I can make a promise for. So it's pretty fun. It is pretty funny. But I think even in thinking about kindergarten and fifth grade, maybe it's something that you can have your classes share together. A fifth grade class can come together with a kindergarten class and share their promises with one another. I think that would be really powerful.
Yeah. You'd be surprised what they can learn from each other, too.
Yes.
I actually do make promises to my students. One of the main ones that I highlight is I will always be here for you to help you on this learning journey.
Promising to listen to them, promising to help them to solve problems that they aren't quite equipped to solve on their own, and walking them through that. Well, for me, I think I want them to be able to know that the power lies within themselves. Even as a 5-year-old, that is something that they can really hone in on and think about and really make deep considerations and deep thoughts about. A lot of people think about 5-year-olds, oh no, but you would be surprised at what deep thinkers they are and can be if you allow them the space to do it.
For my fifth graders, I hope they take away several things. One, that they can achieve anything. But also looking at it as who the author is. Yes, he's a very amazing basketball player, but he's also an author. So I want my students to take away that they can do multiple things. You might have the goal to be an author, but you might be really good at art. Can I be an illustrator or an artist as well? Can I be a teacher and, I don't know, a basketball player? So they can have multiple goals and meet multiple goals. And just like he says in the book, you just keep on trying is his message throughout. I like when we asked LeBron the question, like, what does he want kids to take away from this book? I love the part where he responded and said he wanted students to feel confident. When LeBron talked about what inspired him to write the book, that it's the children who inspired him to write this story, such a powerful story. So the students are learning, I matter, I make a difference, I'm inspiring this amazing basketball player to write this powerful story. So your voice does matter.
Yeah, and he was talking about children all over the world and in the United States and in his community where he's built this school. And now they are living up to the promise as he states it in the book. And it's making sure that every kid has some accountability and every adult has some accountability for how we teach our students and how we bring them up in this world.
We hope our discussion today encourages you to consider how you can help uplift your students' voices,
foster rich conversations, and celebrate the diverse community in your classroom.